Hello and welcome to another episode of the Movie Garage. We're on a movie review episode now. I think this is episode 28, and this week's movie of the week is The Devil All the Time on Netflix. Do you manage to watch it, Gaza?
I did.
Yeah?
So, yeah. So, I can understand why. For me, this film's Marmite,
Yeah.
and I really don't like Marmite.
No.
I actually loved lots of this film.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the intensity, the way it just slowly gripped you, kept you on the edge of your seat without doing too much, was very, very clever.
Yeah.
And some of the acting is outstanding.
Definitely. So this is like, for me, watching it, this is just Oscar bait, this, isn't it? I think the only reason that they've made this film is just to allow the actors to show off and to try and court a load of movie nerds and to win a load of awards. That's what it seems like to me. Yep. So it's on Netflix. It's really, really hard to describe what it's about. It's basically about a group of people in a couple of towns in like the 1950s in America, isn't it? In very like rural America. And they're all just garbage human beings. How anybody lived through the 1950s in that part of America, I have no fucking idea. Especially not after watching this documentary, as I feel it is kind of.
Yeah. It's dark. It
Yeah.
really, at some points, really bloody dark.
Yeah.
And the way that they just tell the story, because throughout it, like I'm kind of glad. At first, I was like, oh no, they've got a narrator through the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
The more you watched it, I was glad of him.
Yeah.
It really worked.
It was really interesting as well, because I thought that he was going to be a character. I thought he was going to be one of the characters. I thought it might have been Tom Holland's character that we find out it was at the end while I was watching it, while I was about halfway through. But then, like you say, as you get on, you realise that he's just a narrator. He's just like the voice of God talking about extra little bits of stuff that you need to know.
And he tells it really well. And I found out why he tells it really well. So the narrator is the guy that wrote the novel.
Fuck off. Seriously, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was like, he tells this story really well. And then I read more into it that he wrote the novel. So it's obviously done. The film's obviously done in the way he wanted it to be done.
Mm. So he's basically just reading bits of his book out then, isn't he? All the bits of narration that he does.
And it plays it out. And when I found that out, I enjoyed it more.
Yeah. Yeah, it does make more sense.
Oh, I've disappeared.
Oh, there we go. You're back in the room. Good stuff. Yeah, like you said, man, it's definitely a Marmite movie for me. I was a bit like, meh. You said like not very much happens. That's definitely the basis for this film. I kind of like, my favourite movies have all got like a big point to them. So like the Avengers film, their point is to defeat the bad guy. So everything that they do is to do that. Do you know what I mean? This movie is basically just a snippet of a group of people's lives and everything that goes on in that snippet for a couple of hours, and then that's it. It's an interesting film, but for me, it just wasn't. It's not something that I would have. I don't think I would have watched it if it wasn't for A, the people that were in it. I probably would have got around to watching it for that if you hadn't suggested it, and B, if you hadn't suggested it.
Yeah, I watched the trailer for it and I was like, I was actually really into it. And I don't know, for me, it really worked because I think things that are quite simple and nothing really worked. Like, when I was watching, I kept going, I need something to glue it all together.
Yeah.
There needs to be some substance to it. There needs to be a reason. And I actually think the way they did it worked in the end.
Yeah.
I think it actually did. I know that it left it quite late to bring it all together. But
Mhm.
I thought the movie was, I thought it was done really well. And I think it's really interesting to get a film that we keep saying that not really much happens, but the acting's that good. It, after each little bit, it keeps leaving you going, what happens?
Yeah.
What happens next? And we were going, well, nothing happened. But I still wanted to know what happens next.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
definitely. It's really hard. I mean, it'll be easier in the second half of this video when we can go a bit spoilery. But other than that, it's really hard to describe like all the kind of stuff that goes on and the way it's done. For me, like you said, the performances and the cast were with the one big like thing for me. So it's got Tom Holland in. It's got what's the guy who plays Winter Soldier? It's got him in as well. Robert Pattinson. So it's like Batman versus Spider-Man. So I was already into that. But yeah, there's some amazing performances. I thought Pattinson could have toned it down a bit. He plays a preacher who comes in. He comes in as like a substitute preacher, but he really fucking swings for the fence.
Who is the guy that played the first preacher?
Mm-hmm.
So this film's so strong belief in religion, isn't it? And
Yeah.
it's very preacherish, churchish, and it's almost cult. It's almost like it almost feels like a cult film. And when like you read the stories of these cult things, is that they go too far.
Yeah.
And this is what happens in this film. But I can't remember the dude that plays the first preacher.
No, he's an older guy, isn't he?
He's outstanding.
Yeah, he's absolutely brilliant. But yeah, like you said, so it's basically set mainly around a very small town, which is very centered around the church, isn't it? And so obviously in the 50s, religion was a lot more prominent as well. I think in those states in America, it still is very prominent like that. But this church and like the people's faith is what comes into it more than anything else. Is what you get from absolutely everything, and that's kind of the big driver for the movie. And it doesn't let anybody off, does it? Normally with like films like that, you'll get people of faith who'll go through all this bad shit, and then at the end it'll let them off because God wanted them to do all this shit, and it doesn't do anything like that, which I was quite impressed at. It was like, you can still have faith and still be an utterly garbage person. That was kind of the message that you were getting. You need to use faith in the right way type stuff.
It was. It really did. It did it really well. So, and if it went that way that you were saying, I think I would have got bored really quickly.
Definitely, yeah. If that had been like the underlying theme of it, then I think it would have dragged it downhill. Should we get a little bit spoilery now for the second bit?
Yeah.
Excellent. So if you've not seen it, then we're going to do some spoilers now in the second half. So turn us off or pause us, go and watch the film, and then come back and watch the second half of the video. So you've been warned now. Like you said, dude, there was overall as a film, not really enough stuff happened for me. But there were some certain little bits that I thought were like utter fucking gold. Like when the preacher goes nuts in the cupboard and then drives out to the woods and stabs his missus and then tries to bring her back to life because he believes that like God has told him to do all this.
Yeah.
The bit after that where they're sat in the car and him and his disabled brother and he's going, I'll hand myself into the police. I'll just tell him it was an accident. And his brother just turns around and goes, you stabbed your wife in the neck with a screwdriver and then tried to bring her back to life using God. That sounds like something a crazy person would do. It is not an accident. I was like, that's such a great line.
It was, for that, it's funny you pulled that part out. It was one of my favourite parts of the whole film.
Yeah.
First of all, it was so dark, so horrible, because it's not just his wife that he's murdered, it's his pregnant wife.
Yeah.
And you're like, this is pretty sick, real powerful scene. To knock it on the head with a bit of a throwaway line like that, that made you laugh straight after it, was genius.
Yeah. But like that, like for people who haven't watched it and are still watching this video and who aren't going to bother watching it, he is like, his part is like a traveling shock preacher, isn't he? And we were first introduced to him when he comes to this church in this local town, and he pours a box of spiders over his face because he was scared of spiders, and to prove that God will protect him, ends up getting bitten on the face by one of these spiders, and he's so embarrassed to go out that that's happened that he locks himself in a cupboard for like 3 weeks, doesn't he?
Yeah.
After like he's met this woman, and after they've ended up having a kid and they've got married and all this kind of stuff, and then sees the light, and then comes out, and then God tells him to murder his wife and that he can bring her back to life.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so insane.
It's so nuts.
Yeah. Tom Holland plays the most unlucky and luckiest guy in the world in this movie. It's bonkers. His part is like some kind of fucking avenging angel, isn't it? After what happens to him at the beginning when his dad goes nuts and crucifies his dog, which was good timing. Blinded.
You know what, dude? I'm really sorry because I watched that and went, oh no.
Oh no! I was watching it going, he's gonna be going fucking nuts here now.
Yeah.
Man, so funny. Great timing. So yeah, his dad goes nuts, crucifies his dog, and then shoots himself to try and stop his mum from dying of cancer, which is like, the story's just mental, isn't it? If you like try and get into it and think about it. And then he kind of grows up and then ends up in like a kind of foster home, doesn't he, with the daughter of the preacher guy who stabs his wife in the neck, who then gets killed off a serial killer as their first victim. And then it all goes around, like you say, and then all ties together at the end. It's like a really slow, rural version of Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
Which is just
and that's it, that whole bit with the serial killer thing, tying it all in, it's that's mad a lot. You know, that storyline is just mad on its own.
Yeah.
And there probably wasn't enough of that.
No, that's it. I don't think so, because they were just like, they kind of drifted in and out, didn't they? So you saw him at the beginning when he first met her, because they happened to meet in the same place where this guy's mum and dad happened to meet, didn't they? And then you saw him kill the first person, and then you kind of saw him fucking about with another guy, didn't you, for a little bit? And then the next minute, Tom Holland gets in their car after he's been through like the worst fucking day of his life. After he's killed the preacher, innit?
Yeah.
He literally walks to the road and then gets picked up by a serial killer. And she's just like, God, how much shit can go on in this guy's life?
Oh, God, yeah.
And then you find out that it's the copper's sister that's working with the serial killer. And again, there's another layer there, because the copper knows who he is and where he'll go, because he helped him out after his dad's. The way it all connected and everything like that was really beautiful. But yeah, like I say, it wasn't my kind of film, but it was good for what it was.
Yeah, like you said, the whole connection and when it all started coming together at the end was really, really brilliant. Yeah. Really brilliant. I was actually like proper. It completely, it gave me what I was after the whole film.
Yeah.
By doing it that way, by just bringing the story together with. And it, like you said, it kind of brings it in a full circle with him and the copper again.
Yeah.
At the end, and it's so the ending of that film so brilliantly. It's so good, and it really made up for bits that you go, come on, just give us something.
Yeah, do something.
And when the way that they delivered it in the end, I was like, yeah, this is. For me, it was my kind of film.
Yeah. Excellent.
Definitely, yeah. It was definitely my kind of film.
I really thought there was going to be a twist at the end. You know, where because he ends up again after surviving everything. Tom Holland's character, he ends up getting in a VW Beetle, doesn't he? At the end with a really sketchy looking dude. I thought that was going to be like Charles Manson or something, like a proper world famous serial killer. And I thought that it was going to end there. I thought we were going to see like a driver's license of Charles Manson, and I thought it was going to go off. But it's just like, oh my God, how unlucky can this dude be? He's just been through all this shit. Oh man, so good. But yeah, there was some lovely little twists and turns in it. There was the way they brought it together at the end was just beautiful. The way that it all flowed. Like the last like 30 minutes of this movie was fucking gold. It was really good. The way everything all fell into place.
Yeah, it really was.
Yeah, just thought the build-up could have done with being maybe a little bit more, and I thought Robert Pattinson could have turned it down a good few notches. He was doing his crazy preacher shit.
Yeah, a little more background on a few characters. I believe the copper's sister was meant to have a better background and a better storyline. For whatever reason, they did it and filmed it that way. But other than that, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really good.
Yeah, it's definitely worth a watch for me. Mark's out of 5?
4 for me.
Ooh, nice. I'm going to go for 3 for me. But yeah, it's definitely worth a watching. So yeah, that was Devil All the Time. Very cool. I believe it's my choice for the next one, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know if you're going to love me or hate me for this, but it's Halloween coming up, so I think we've got to do it for the next one. Shared a post the other week to the Movie Garage Facebook page. It's about a film that I haven't seen before. Apparently, it has been scientifically proven that this is the scariest movie of all time. Yay! So this week's movie of the week is Sinister. Now, God knows where we're going to find it or anything along those lines. I'm assuming it'll be somewhere with Halloween coming up. It'll definitely be on TV. So yeah, I've not seen it. I don't actually know anything about it other than it's apparently the scariest movie ever. So yeah, we're going to go for that. Feeling good?
Great.
It's definitely not one.
You know what?
Watch on your
when
phone.
I'm watching these films and I'm lying in bed, next to my missus,
right in your face. That's what
my phone's right in my face. Yeah, I really want to watch a scary film.
Hooray! I've like started watching them now. If I can't catch him like at home or in one sitting or something like that, I'll watch him at work while I'm on dinner or while I'm sat in my car wiring kits up on my phone. So people just think I'm fucking insane because I'm either laughing my head off or going, ooh, or like in this case, totally shitting myself, sat on my own in a car park. So yeah, should be interesting.
You did that.
Just running out of the car, throwing my phone. Fuck this. Stupid idea. Whose fucking idea is it? Ace. Right, so that is us for this week. Give us a follow on all the social medias, give us a like, give us a share, subscribe to the YouTube and to the podcast if you just want to hear our lovely voices instead of looking at our lovely faces as well. But yeah, until next week, thanks very much, guys.
Ta.
Ta for now.
I'm going to carry on wearing a hat.